All right, so we're just going to Brian, just repeat this real quick, but we are going to walk through really some of the base level um, ideas of how you can leverage HubSpot specifically to run some pilot campaigns for ABM. So with that, just a side note of for most people, I recommend when they're running a pilot campaign, so just their first ABM campaign ever, they either run a campaign that is for in pipeline opportunities or they run a campaign that is for previously lost opportunities. So since you guys just onboarded with ZoomInfo, you're still learning how to use the tool. And with ZoomInfo, like it is a super powerful tool when used correctly, but when used incorrectly, it can actually be very damaging for your brand from a cold outreach perspective. So just to give you an example, I thought I was very clever, and I wrote an email sequence that was sent cold to a bunch of Inc. 5000 companies. And I said something because I don't know where I pulled the fact, but essentially it was like there were no repeat Inc. 5000 companies, and I pulled that from the Inc. 5000 website, which was wrong. So I sent the first round of emails to about 50 contacts at rapidly growing tech companies, and one person replied and said, "We've been in Inc. 5000 10 years running. I don't think we'll ever need your services." I was like, oh, so all that to say, like I've butchered that relationship, and we have not been able to even remotely touch that account that we've been trying to break into for about 6 months. So hard lessons learned, and that's why I recommend that you not do that. And just to get things started, you start with again previously lost opportunities or in pipeline. If they've been previously lost, people typically are like, I don't want to touch those accounts, but like they already know you exist. You already have most of the information. And especially if I'm able to tell based on a lot of your website, like I'm familiar with Kronos. So, I mean, you guys are B2B business consultants. Probably some piece of this is marketing as well. Um, so all that to say, like you want to go with people that already know you exist, and then you can actually specifically talk through the services that you offer that would be most beneficial for them. So a couple tools that you can use. Our dummy portal doesn't have it, but right here you can specifically use sales sequences if you're doing cold outreach, but you can also do targeted like workflow outreach, leveraging email automation. If you have the ads extension, which I think is like it's either $100 or $1,000 a month. I can't remember off the top of my head, but you can actually create an audience and you can upload a company list. I tried doing contact lists, but most people have created a LinkedIn account based on a personal email. So again, you can probably pull that information from ZoomInfo, but if you don't have it and you upload a company list, then you can do advertising specifically to companies and then segment by departments. So for example, as a marketing agency, we've uploaded our target account list to LinkedIn, and then I do segmented advertising based on trying to reach specific individuals of a certain level in the organization that are specifically in marketing sales. And that's how we've gotten around the email match problem that a lot of people are experiencing. So that's one tactic that you can use. I think another thing that's specifically underutilized would just be chat experiences. You can create dedicated landing pages if you're on the HubSpot CMS pretty easily. So real quick, what are you guys on from a website perspective? Or like WordPress or HubSpot okay, so you're on HubSpot CMS, which makes this even better. So you can really easily create a chat flow and then do different bots based on list segmentation. And then you just prioritize the different chats. So hypothetically, let's say you've got an ABM chat that you want people to see. You can show this to only people that are a part of a certain list. Yeah. One second. Yeah. So segmented list. and then you can just pick whatever list. So if you built a target account list, you can put those into a list as well, and then you can only show this to people that are a part of a list, and then you build it out to be specific to whatever this is. So again, this is not an actual. I would not recommend using these exact ideas because this was just for demonstration purposes. But essentially, somebody comes to your website, they get a little question at the bottom that says, "Is something keeping you from growing?" And then they open it up and it says, "What's keeping you from growing?" And then they just have a couple of options that sends them towards different resources, or if they're ready to talk to sales, we just need help. And then the ABM bot populates, a couple questions like what's your name, email, and schedule a demo right there. Again, that's shown specifically to target accounts. The reason that this is so highly effective is if you've done good target account prioritization. They're all qualified from a firmographic standpoint. They may not all be a culture fit, but you don't know that until you've entered into a conversation. Before I keep going, Brian, is this helpful? Are there any specific questions that I can answer? Thank you for the feedback of great idea. I greatly appreciate that. Also, while I'm on the subject, we did a webinar like 2 weeks ago that was called ABM Strategy You Can Steal. Do content. Once we've recorded something, I don't typically gate it. I just want the content to be consumed. And honest to goodness, this has been the most well responded to virtual event that we've done. So here's genuinely a comprehensive strategy that we ran with a client of ours that generated like $243,000 in revenue, and generated like 30 deals into their pipeline that were all of that same level, about 240 to 60, somewhere upwards of 300 in annual revenue. So very large accounts that move very quickly from an ABM perspective. So highly recommend if you're just trying to learn some strategies, looking into that. A couple other ideas that I would recommend, specifically because you're on the HubSpot CMS, you can create dedicated landing pages that are hidden, and then have those landing pages, again, be very, very specific to whatever the target account's problems are. So for example, if you're running a one-to-one campaign towards lost deals, you could outline exactly what they were looking for and provide factual evidence of why you were the best option, and just say, hey, as you're looking to the new year, if you're not happy with your current results, we'd be happy to talk again. Something as simple and as basic as that. Again, you'd want to finesse it to where it makes sense in context and you're not coming back and looking all beggy. But I mean, you just create a landing page that is specific to a target account. And that's a super easy opportunity. That's high touch, high personalization. Now, if you want to launch a campaign, it's a little bit more high level, but is very targeted in the information it offers. What we did in that ABM strategy that you can steal is we created dedicated landing pages that were super informational for a very specific industry, and then sent those to the target accounts. And then leveraging the HubSpot CMS, you and I both know that you can do personalization tokens. So you could actually insert, and I could create a landing page. And if you're in our CRM, then that would come back as hey, Brian, I know that improvisation is looking to have some major growth in 2022, but you might be struggling to understand how to execute ABM. A partner like Mojo Media Labs can help develop an ABM strategy that will help you not just reach, but crush your goals. And then, that can walk through essentially some ABM strategy case studies that we've executed with organizations similar to yours. And then again, it's personalized because there's personalization tokens in it, so people feel like it's a one-to-one experience. But again, because it's personalization tokens, it's just filling in the first name and the last name and the company name and the industry based on the information that's present in the CRM. So if you're looking to do a bit more of a one-to-few approach, that's an idea that we've seen work really, really effectively. Um, and again, you would just create a landing page. Actually, hold on. I think I already have. Yeah. Awesome. I built out a bit of a demo for ABM in here. Personalization on landing pages. I'm glad you asked. So again, I don't remember. Golly, I wrote this probably 2 months ago. But yes, so I don't know exactly what your CMS looks like. This is on Mojo Media Labs built a HubSpot theme called Mojo Flex. So this is on the Mojo Flex theme. So you've got the right column, and then over here, you've got, I don't know if you can see, let me go ahead and maybe zoom in a little bit more. Might have zoomed in too much, but I think you can see it. So, hey, first name, looking for ways to grow, company name, we've got you covered. So again, it's then pulling in based on information in the CRM. And right now, it doesn't look like anything because it's showing when, like for example, when there's not information in there, you've got default values. So when I preview this as, we're just going to say Robert Gordon, it says, hey, Robert, looking for ways to grow Safeway. We've got you covered. And then, you know, you don't have to suffer from bad marketing any longer. You're the SVP, General Counsel, and Chief Governance Officer. You have the power to influence change at Safeway. Want to know how? Implement an ABM strategy. So again, it's gotten, I mean, obviously you want to make sure your data reads well, because like you're the SVP, Chief General Counsel, and Chief Governance Officer. It's a bit of a mouthful. But again, I mean, you can see, like as you read through this, it feels really personalized. And let me go ahead and zoom in so you can actually see like the level of personalization that's present. So again, Robert, Safeway, many B2B companies, that would say the actual specific industry if we had that data in here. Job title, you have the power to influence change at organization, and then that would say your industry, like what the industry was if we had that data, but it just says your industry. So again, actually, honestly, it reads pretty well, all things considered. And then, hey, because we've got their information, we can go ahead and autofill some forms, and they can go on about their merry way. So again, that is also a highly effective strategy that is more scalable than just building dedicated landing pages for every single person. Trying to think through any other major ideas. Has this been helpful so far? Sweet. I am glad I could be of assistance. So let's go ahead and talk through cold outreach. I can't necessarily show you exactly because I don't have it here with our dummy system full of dummy data. But again, are you familiar with the tool sales sequences? So honestly, what some people do is they will write out an automated workflow or just a series of emails that they send out to their database, and then they will exclude their target accounts from those workflow emails, either because it's technically still cold outreach and they haven't specifically opted into anything, or they want to make sure that those specific emails are more personalized to the individual. So then you can copy and paste whatever you make for your marketing emails into a sales sequence that either you can use personalization tokens to make it more personalized. If you've got a really, really small team and you want to send out a lot of emails, I recommend taking a more personalized approach because it's ABM, but you can help your sales team by using the marketing emails that you're sending to the masses as kind of in place template that then they can go in and more deeply personalize on a one-to-one or a one-to-few or a one-to-many scale. And again, because the sales sequences can be templated, or if you set it up in a specific way, they can actually all be automated emails that once someone's opted in, you get 5 automated emails in each sales sequence. You can actually enroll up to 50 people at a time in a sales sequence. So, and when I say at a time, what I mean by that is you can select 50, enroll them in a sales sequence, select another 50, enroll them in a sales sequence. So you can enroll X number of people. And then I've done this. So here's another lesson. If you send too many automated emails in a single day from a Gmail account, Google will shut down your account. So I would not recommend sending more than about 2 automated emails from a personalized or from a personal account in a given day using sales sequences. But it is something that you can do, so that gives you in your tool belt for marketing tactics natively used within HubSpot. You have chat sequences or chat flows that are based on target accounts, that those chat flows can actually point people directly to specific landing pages that you've already built. Those landing pages can have personalization tokens that speak directly to someone's problem that they are trying to overcome. You can use automated sales sequences to also drive traffic towards those landing pages. And then you can also upload an audience to LinkedIn. And then once you're in LinkedIn, and walk you through essentially, oh goodness, have a couple notifications on LinkedIn. Yeah, so once you're in LinkedIn, here's how you would go about actually so you've got to count assets, so you can do matched audiences. The other thing you can do from here is once you've actually created a campaign, you can go in to the audience at brand awareness. And so under audiences, you would go to third party. You can do third party company or contact, because we've uploaded hypothetically a company list. It'd be third party company. And then you can do HubSpot target accounts. And then you want to narrow further. So you would do audience attributes like job experience, job function. And you want to focus on, for us, it'd be marketing, media and communication, potentially sales. And then we want to narrow even further into job seniority. So we want to focus on senior manager, not entry, manager, director, VP, C-suite. And then we save that. And because I haven't run ads in a minute, it's archived, but you'll see this come back typically with about 36,000, 38,000 individuals that match this criteria. So that was super easy to build out. And then because you got the ad extension, all of it's actually trackable in HubSpot on the account level, so that from a target account perspective, you can see who's engaging. So is that also helpful? I'm going to think, hopefully, yes. I've also realized that I have yet to show you how to actually segment your target accounts. So let's say, again, hypothetically, you've uploaded a list from ZoomInfo. You've then created a list here. Or let's say, hypothetically, you want to run a lost deal campaign to re-engage. You would just figure out essentially lost deals, how long were they lost? And then what you just do is simply go in, edit on a company property, and target account is just a property. You just set this to true. And then under target accounts, they live here. So we've got 10 target accounts with 6 open deals and an open value of 21 million. And we're missing some other information that we can go back in and fill. But essentially you can see we're selling to Chipotle and Google and HubSpot and Nike. But this helps give you a high level overview of essentially like, when was the last engagement? When was the last time we did outreach? And is there anything scheduled? So this will show you if there's a sales sequence scheduled, if there's a meeting scheduled. Like, it will let you know what you guys have actively scheduled, if there's a task. And then really you can, I guess not with this level of account, but typically on, I'm sure the level you guys have at enterprise, you can do an account overview that will give you more specific information on not just the account level, but like the specific person in each account that has done any level of engagement. So I feel like I might have just opened up a fire hydrant of information. Most of the time people come in with like very specific questions and are not like, how do I use HubSpot for ABM? So this was super fun for me. But are there any specific questions? I just realized you mentioned the idea of campaign manager. So now I want to show you one final thing. Because I can't believe I didn't show you that. That's honestly one of the things that makes this all amazing. So under campaigns, you can relate everything that you create back to the specific campaign. So for example, you've got an ABM pilot campaign, and all the different assets that are a part of this are like a blog post, a landing page, a static list, and then you can just go through and add any additional assets. So we have specific calls to action that we've created that are for this target account list. Any workflows, any social posts that are going out. Again, landing pages, emails. If there's a specific ad campaign, so we'll just say like your ABM agency. So then all of this, we can now see, have we actually closed enough deals? Did we influence enough contacts? Did we generate enough sessions? Like, what level of revenue attribution do we have? What does this all look like from an ad spend perspective? And then you can really just manage your results and see from a high level overview, did this campaign generate significant results for the business? So that's honestly why I love it when I hear people are saying that they're on HubSpot CMS, marketing, sales, service, and operations, because if you run everything in HubSpot and through HubSpot, it's not perfect. Like, I don't want to lie to you and say like, oh yeah, like, yes. So this does tie the LinkedIn campaign manager that I was talking about earlier. So you would want to build the specific ad campaign. Sorry, let me let it load, and then I can walk you through what that process looks like. Okay, it's not going to load for me. So sorry about that. But yes, it should tie in the LinkedIn ad campaign. So if it'll let me go back, this dummy account is tied to our actual LinkedIn ad manager. So you can see we got, we spent $600 on an ad campaign that generated 1,200 some odd clicks. And what I did that was different was, and I learned a lesson. I think it was helpful, but there was no lead capture information. So even though this looks like it didn't capture any leads, we've actually already had people come in that were like, yeah, like we were pointing people towards a landing page to generate awareness. And in the future, what I have already learned to do is more of do ads for like top of funnel content that's more webinar based. That is what has worked for us. So like this ABM strategy that you can steal. We didn't actually end up running ads for that. We didn't need to. We already had 260 people register for that. But like we're going to start doing more ad related things on LinkedIn next year, specifically to test, is this the best way that we can leverage advertising to capture information on super high level, helpful information like this. I shouldn't say high level, but just genuinely helpful information like this. Um, and from there, they'll just be a part of our regular marketing cadence. Like we're not going to do a nurture drip email sequence that's specific. It's just we just get an email address so they can get the invite to the webinar and go from there. So yeah, I really hope that all